Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to look at how to Dockerize a Java application. In case you are new to our YouTube channel, please be sure to subscribe so that you can always be notified whenever we post new videos. All right. So with me here, I have a very simple Java application that we are going to be Dockerizing, right? So I'll start my local server here so that we can have a walkthrough of how the application looks like. So to start the local server, we make use of mvn springboot then run, all right? Then press enter. All right, then let's view it on the browser. So from the browser, we are going to have the localhost IP and port 8080 by default. That is the port under which Java application runs on. Right? So this is a simple application that we are going to be Dockerizing that has a home page and a contact us page. All right. So the first thing that we need to do to create an image for our application is to ensure that Docker is installed on our system. All right. So I'll stop that server, clear the screen, and check the version of Docker in my machine. All right. And we see that I'm currently on version 27.5.1. So the next step will be creating a Dockerfile. But even before we create a Dockerfile, the Dockerfile will rely on the build that we do for our project. So before we create the Dockerfile, let us first create the build for our project, all right? And the way to create a build for our project, we have mvn clean, then install. Press enter and give it time. All right, so once the build has completed, we see a .jar file has been generated here. All right, so this is very crucial because we are going to be referring to this file in our Dockerfile. All right, once we have that, the next thing will be creating the Dockerfile. All right, in the root directory of your project, we are going to create a new file here, and we are going to name it Dockerfile. And remember, it should follow this convention. All right, the first letter should be a capital D and the others should be lowercase. All right, then in the Dockerfile, we are just going to have some few lines and we are going to see how simple it is. All right, so as it has always been, we always start by declaring the base image. All right, so in here, we are going to start with from, all right? So from, in this case, we are going to make use of the OpenJDK. In this case, I'll make use of version 17, which is the one that is installed on my system and is being used to run this project. All right, so I'll make use of version 17, and to ensure that the image is small in size, I'll make use of a very lightweight OpenJDK image, and that is JDK Alpine. All right. The next thing will be declaring a work directory. So we have work.dir, then mention the working directory of your application. So we are going to make use of app. Basically, this is a custom directory that will be created within the image. So it must not always be app. You can set the name of your choice. All right. Then the next thing will be copying our build file here to the location that we set here, right? So we are going to talk of copy, all right? So we are going to copy from the source, and the source in our case, we are talking of targets. Then we have this name. So let me just right click, see if there is an option to rename, copy that, and have the name here. All right, and we are copying that in the working directory that we just set. All right, and remember, having set this as the working directory, we can't just talk of copy. Whatever we have mentioned here, then we can mention the new name of our build file. All right. So instead of just using a very wrong name here, I can just make use of app.jar. All right. That's enough. So this copy command is aware that it will be copying whatever we have here in the working directory. So you do not have to explicitly mention the working directory in here. All right. Then the next thing will be exposing the port. And as we have seen, our application is running on port 8080. So we are going to talk of expose, and we are exposing port 8080. All right. The next thing should be the command that is used to run this application. So we are going to make use of cmd. Then in here, the command that we are going to make use of is we are going to have java. All right. So in here we have java -jar and the name of our build file. All right. Remember, we have renamed our build file when copying it and renamed it to app.jar. So ensure to have whatever name you give it reflect in this section. All right. So once we have that, then it's time to create our image. All right. So just save the changes and open your terminal. So the way to create an image out of this Docker file. We are going to have Docker, we will do a build, then we will tag our image and then give it a name. So in my case, I can just talk of Java application, all right, then space, and then add a dot, all right. So this dot simply refers to the location of our Docker file. So we see that the Docker file is in the current location, so we refer to the current location with that dot. All right. Once we are happy with that, just press enter and give it time. So in case I talk of Docker images, all right, we have our image here. We have Java application. All right. We may want to run our application from this image. All right. Then let's see how to do that. So let me just copy this image, clear the screen. So I'll have Docker run. Then let's talk about the port. Let's have our application run on port 8001. Then in here, we need to mention the port that we exposed for our application. All right. Then we may want to have that application run on the detach mode, right? Then mention the name of the image. All right. So press enter. So we see that a container ID has been generated in here. So if we talk about Docker PS, we see we have a container that is up and running in here, right? So let's try to access that on our browser. And remember, we have mapped it on port 8001. All right, so back to our browser, try to access that, have port 8001, press enter. All right, and we see we are able to see our application. All right, basically this application is being powered by Docker. All right, so we may want to push this image to our Docker Hub. All right, our image name is Java application, right? So for us to be able to push this image to our Docker Hub, you need to tag this image by referring to your Docker username. All right, so the way to do that, let me just quickly open my Docker Hub account here. If you look at the images that I have already uploaded, my username is Danny Wangari. So for me to be able to successfully push an image to my Docker Hub account, I have to ensure that they bear this username, all right? And since when creating, I didn't take into account making use of my username, then I'll just tag this image with the right name, all right? So I'll have Docker tag. So we want to tag Java application latest, and we want to tag it using, sorry, so let me have that. Then we want to tag that using Daniwangari, and then I give it the name that I prefer. All right. So in this case, I can still give it Java application, no harm. Then press enter. So if I have Docker images, I will see the new image here. Basically, it's the same image. It has been copied but given a different name. So basically, this is the image that I should push to my Docker Hub. All right. But before you do that, you need to log into your Docker account from the command line. And the way to do that, we have Docker login. All right. So you'll be prompted for your username and your password. Right? But in my case, I'm already logged in. So to push that image to your Docker Hub, just have Docker push, then mention the name of your image. Then press enter and give it time to complete. And remember, having not given the tag here, it will automatically be given the tag latest, all right? But in case you wanted to make use of a different tag, ensure to add the tag here when either tagging your image or when creating a build of your image, all right? So let's give it time. All right, and after a short while, we see our image has been pushed. If we come back here, reload, we are able to see the image that we have just pushed. All right. So in case you want to share this with your network, you can simply give them the name to your image. And that's it. All right. So with just a few lines, we have been able to create a Docker image for our Java application. And I believe this video has been helpful. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this video with your network, and be sure to drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Bye for now.